Most Americans think of Social Security as a retirement program. Every payday, millions of Americans contribute through payroll taxes or self-employment taxes, expecting those contributions to help provide income during retirement. While retirement benefits are an important part of the program, they are only one piece of a much larger system. Social Security was also designed to provide financial protection in other situations. It offers disability benefits for eligible workers who can no longer work because of a qualifying disability, and survivor benefits that may provide continuing financial support to eligible family members after the death of someone who worked and paid into Social Security. Before we continue, let's define the scope of today's discussion. This episode focuses specifically on survivor benefits provided through the U.S. Social Security program. Other survivor protections, including life insurance, employer retirement plans, railroad retirement benefits, veterans survivor benefits, certain public pension systems, Medicaid, supplemental security income, and other programs, follow different rules and are beyond the scope of today's discussion. So why do Social Security survivor benefits exist? Imagine a family that depends primarily on one income earner. For many years, that person worked and paid Social Security taxes. Then, unexpectedly, that income earner dies. Along with the emotional loss, the family may suddenly face a difficult financial reality. A significant source of monthly income may be gone, yet everyday expenses continue. Mortgage or rent payments, groceries, utilities, healthcare costs, and countless other bills don't stop. Social Security survivor benefits were created to help provide financial protection in situations like these. They are intended to provide ongoing monthly benefits to eligible family members based on the deceased person's Social Security earnings record. While these benefits are not designed to replace every dollar of lost income, they can become an important source of financial stability during one of life's most difficult transitions. One important point often surprises people. Survivor benefits are not limited to people who had already retired. In many situations, eligible family members may qualify even if the income earner dies before reaching retirement age. The work credit requirements for survivor benefits are different from those for retirement benefits and generally depend on the worker's age when they died. We'll explain how those rules work when we discuss eligibility and benefit calculations later in this episode. Now that we've explored why survivor benefits exist, the next question is equally important. Who may qualify to receive them? So, who may qualify for Social Security survivor benefits? Survivor benefits are not paid automatically to every family member. The Social Security Administration has established specific eligibility requirements, and different family members may qualify under different conditions. Let's look at the groups most commonly covered by the program. Let's begin with the person most viewers immediately think about, the husband or wife left behind after the loss of a spouse. For many families, the death of a spouse also means the loss of an important source of household income. Social Security survivor benefits were designed to help provide financial support during that difficult transition. In many cases, a surviving spouse may qualify for benefits based on the deceased spouse's Social Security earnings record. Eligibility depends on several factors, including age and individual circumstances. Different rules may also apply if the surviving spouse is caring for an eligible child. We'll explain benefit amounts and claiming options later in this episode. The next group often surprises people. Many assume that divorce permanently ends any eligibility for Social Security benefits based on a former spouse's work record. In reality, the law provides survivor benefits for certain divorced spouses who meet the program's eligibility requirements. In general, the marriage must have lasted at least 10 years, and additional Social Security rules also apply, including certain remarriage provisions. Although they are no longer married, the law recognizes that some long-term marriages represented many years of shared financial life. Survivor benefits also help protect eligible children after the loss of a parent. These benefits can provide important financial support while children are still growing up and financially dependent on their family. In general, unmarried children under age 18 may qualify for survivor benefits. In some situations, benefits may continue until age 19 if the child is still attending high school full-time. Social Security also recognizes another important group that many people don't know about. If an adult child became disabled before age 22 and continues to meet Social Security's eligibility requirements, survivor benefits may continue into adulthood. These benefits recognize that some adult children remain financially dependent because of a qualifying disability. The final group is much less common, but it is still important to understand. Certain dependent parents may also qualify for survivor benefits. In general, this applies to parents age 62 or older who depended on their adult son or daughter for at least half of their financial support before that person passed away. As with the other groups we've discussed, specific Social Security eligibility requirements must also be met. Although each group has different eligibility rules, they all share one common purpose. Survivor benefits are designed to help provide financial protection for eligible family members after the loss of someone who contributed to Social Security through their work. Now that we've identified who may qualify for survivor benefits, the next important question is how Social Security determines the amount each eligible survivor may receive. Earlier, we learned who may qualify for Social Security survivor benefits. The next question is just as important. How does Social Security determine whether benefits can be paid and how much each eligible family member may receive? The answer is based on several factors. Social Security looks at the worker's employment history, earnings record, eligible family members, and the rules established by law before determining survivor benefits. The first question Social Security asks is whether the deceased person was covered by the Social Security program. In most cases, that means the person worked in jobs covered by Social Security and paid Social Security taxes during their working years. Earlier, we mentioned that survivor benefits follow different work credit rules than retirement benefits. This is one of the most misunderstood parts of the program. A person does not necessarily need enough work credits to qualify for retirement benefits before survivor benefits can be paid. Instead, the number of work credits generally depends on the worker's age at the time of death. Because younger workers have had less time to build a long work history, they often need fewer work credits for their eligible family members to qualify for survivor benefits. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine a 35-year-old parent who worked and paid Social Security taxes for several years before unexpectedly passing away. Many people assume the family would receive nothing because that parent had not reached retirement age. In reality, survivor benefits follow different coverage rules. Depending on the worker's age and employment history, the surviving family members may still qualify for survivor benefits. Once Social Security determines that the worker had sufficient coverage, the next step is to review that person's lifetime earnings record. In general, workers with higher covered lifetime earnings may leave larger survivor benefits than workers with lower lifetime earnings. That's because survivor benefits are based on the deceased worker's Social Security earnings record. Here's another example. Imagine two workers who both qualify for Social Security coverage. One spent a career earning a higher income than the other. Even though both families qualify for survivor benefits, the The monthly benefit amounts may be different because each worker's earnings record is different. Now, let's look at how family circumstances can affect survivor benefits. Imagine a retired husband passes away, leaving only his surviving wife. If she meets Social Security's eligibility requirements, her survivor benefit will be determined using her husband's Social Security earnings record and the rules that apply to her age and circumstances. Now, consider a younger family. A working parent dies unexpectedly, leaving behind a surviving spouse and 2 minor children. All 3 family members may qualify for survivor benefits. However, Social Security also establishes what is known as the family maximum. This rule limits the total amount that can be paid from one worker's earnings record. If the combined survivor benefits exceed that limit, individual payments may be adjusted so the family's total remains within the maximum allowed under the law. Finally, imagine an adult son or daughter who had been providing more than half of the financial support for an elderly parent. If that worker passes away and the parent meets Social Security's eligibility requirements, survivor benefits may also be available. Although this situation is much less common, it illustrates that Social Security was designed to protect different types of financially dependent family members. As you can see, Social Security does not use one simple formula for every family. It considers the worker's Social Security coverage, lifetime earnings record, eligible family members, and the rules established by law before determining survivor benefits. Now that we understand how survivor benefits are determined, the next important question is how and when eligible family members should apply. By now, you have a better understanding of who may qualify for Social Security survivor benefits and how those benefits are determined. The next question is a practical one. If your family needs to claim survivor benefits, what should they do? One of the most important things to remember is that survivor benefits are generally not paid automatically. In most cases, an eligible family member must contact the Social Security Administration and apply for benefits. During that process, Social Security will explain the steps involved and identify the documents needed for your particular situation. Depending on the claim, you may be asked to provide documents such as proof of death, marriage records, birth certificates for eligible children, Social Security numbers, banking information for direct deposit, or other supporting records. Every family's circumstances are different, so the required documentation may also differ. If you do not have every document immediately available, don't assume you cannot begin the process. Contact the Social Security Administration first and follow their guidance. This is also a good time to clear up a common misunderstanding. Social Security survivor benefits are separate from your estate plan. The Social Security Administration is not deciding who inherits your home, your savings, or other personal assets. It is generally not interpreting your will or administering your living trust. Instead, Social Security determines eligibility for survivor benefits under federal law, while your will, trust, beneficiary designations, and other estate documents are handled under different legal rules. For many families, the first conversation should be with the Social Security Administration. Their representatives can explain the survivor benefit program, answer questions about the application process, and identify the documentation needed for your claim. Most survivor benefit claims are straightforward. However, some cases involve unusual family relationships, questions about eligibility, missing records, or disagreements about how the law applies. If your situation becomes legally or factually complex, or if you disagree with a Social Security decision, you have the right to request a review. In those situations, seeking advice from a qualified attorney or an accredited representative experienced in Social Security matters may be appropriate. One of the best ways to prepare is long before these benefits are ever needed. Review your annual Social Security statement or your My Social Security account from time to time. Make sure your important documents are organized, and let your spouse or another trusted family member know where those documents can be found. A little preparation today can make an already difficult time much easier for the people you care about most. Preparing ahead cannot remove the emotional pain of losing someone you love, but understanding the process and knowing where to turn for reliable guidance can reduce unnecessary stress and confusion when your family needs help the most. In our final chapter, we'll summarize the most important points every family should remember about Social Security survivor benefits. As we conclude this retirement briefing, let's review the most important points about Social Security survivor benefits. First, survivor benefits are an important part of the Social Security program. They were created to provide financial support for eligible family members after the death of someone who contributed to Social Security through their work. Second, eligibility is determined under federal law. It depends on the deceased worker's Social Security coverage, the applicant's relationship to that worker, and the specific eligibility requirements established by the Social Security Administration. Third, survivor benefits are not the same for every family. The amount paid depends on several factors, including the worker's earnings record and the circumstances of each eligible survivor. Fourth, claiming survivor benefits generally requires an application. If you believe you or a member of your family may qualify, contact the Social Security Administration to begin the process and to determine which documents are needed for your specific claim. Most claims are processed without major difficulty. However, if your situation involves unusual family circumstances, disputed eligibility, or an appeal, don't hesitate to seek qualified legal advice from someone experienced in Social Security matters. We hope this briefing has helped you better understand how Social Security survivor benefits work. Every family's circumstances are unique, so always confirm important decisions directly with the Social Security Administration or, when appropriate, seek qualified legal guidance. This episode is intended for educational purposes only and should not be considered legal, financial, or tax advice. Social Security laws and regulations may change over time, so always verify current information before making important decisions. If you found this retirement briefing helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing this video with family members or friends who may benefit from it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next retirement briefing.